everyone. I will call the meeting to order at 5:15 for a Wednesday, May 12th, 2021 at 5:15 p.m. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for joining us. Mr. Zerlo, would you please conduct a roll? Legislator Potiker asked to be excused, that's right?
It is, sir.
I don't see it, so I'll speak.
Mr. Castine.
Present.
Mr. Conroy.
Here.
Mr. Hall. Here. Mr. Henry.
Here.
Mr. Hughes.
Here.
Mr. Kretzer.
Here.
Mr. Perrier. Here. Mr. Potiker is asked to be excused. Mr. Timmons.
Here.
And Ms. Waldron.
Here.
Thank you. All legislators have received a copy of the stenographer's minutes of the April 28th, 2021 regular session. If there are no additions, deletions, or corrections, I will entertain a motion to accept the minutes as presented. I have a motion by Legislator Timmons, a second by Legislator Hall. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. We will now go to the committee reports. Each legislator chairs one of the 10 standing committees, and I will call on the chairperson of each committee in alphabetical order by committee, starting with, as we always do, Buildings and Grounds, Legislator Timmons.
The Buildings and Grounds Committee meeting scheduled for Monday, May 10th was canceled. James Cleveland, the superintendent of Buildings and Grounds Department, has been getting ready for a beautiful summer. Multiple new shrubs have been planted, mowing and trimming is going on, and all the government center stairwells are being painted. Additionally, he noted that government center roof project bids requests will be going out soon with a hopeful completion date of September or into early October. Lastly, he reported de-winterization of the government center air conditioning has begun in anticipation of warmer weather to come. The next Buildings and Grounds Committee meeting is scheduled for Monday, June 14th at 4:30 p.m. and report.
Thank you very much. Children and Family Services. Legislator Potiker is excused. Mr. Zerlo?
Yes, sir. On behalf of Legislator Potiker, the Children and Family Services Committee meeting scheduled for Tuesday, May 4th was canceled. The committee was polled on resolutions 286 through 288, which have been placed on tonight's agenda. And the next Children and Family Services Committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for June 1 at 5:15 p.m.
Thank you, sir. Economic Development and County Operations, Legislator Waldron.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the Economic Development and County Operations Committee met earlier this afternoon. Dave Randall, the Director of Information Technology, was present to discuss potential recommended changes to the county email services. Resolutions number 289 and 290 have been placed on the agenda as the result of the committee's recommendations. The next Economic Development and County Operations meeting is tentatively scheduled for Wednesday, June 9th at 4 o'clock p.m. End of report.
Thank you, ma'am.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I just wanted to take a moment. This is our first regular session meeting without Renee McFarland as our chair of the IDA as well as our economic developer. And I just wanted to take a second to thank her for all the work that she did. She did an incredible job understanding how the IDA works and operating as its head. And then she also was able to add a position in our economic development office where she had help in there. She was very effective. I think she did a great job, and I can't wait to see who the new candidates are. And I think it's a super important position. One thing Renee was about to do before she changed paths was she was going to get together a tour with Trevor Cole, Town of Plattsburgh, Chamber, to bring the legislators out to oftentimes we visit the airport and the flight line and see what's going on. But the other thing that we need to remember is what we're calling the advanced manufacturing park, or the old airport. Once we get a new economic developer, the way Renee pictured it was that person would go on this tour with us. But so we can go see the new Monahan building, beside the new Norse building, beside the new TDC office, beside their new 3-tenant building, as well as our new approach road that we're working on. So I'm excited. That'll, I guess, be in a couple months. Maybe we'll do that.
Okay, thank you. Finance, legislative things.
Yes, the Finance Committee met on Wednesday, May 5th. Kimberly Davis, the County Treasurer, was present to discuss occupancy tax, sales tax, the correction of errors report, and in-rem foreclosure. Charles Nesbitt Jr. and Keith Krug of Wendell Companies were also present to discuss a potential energy performance contract. Resolutions 291 and 292 have been placed on the agenda as a result of the committee's recommendations. The next Finance Committee meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, June 2nd at 5:15 p.m. End of report.
So, Chairman, the only thing I'll add, Rob and board, is that received a call from the jail, email from the jail yesterday, and they indicated that there is a problem with some of their air handler chillers on top of their, all of them, that are nervous about going through the next heating season. So I immediately called these folks to see if that could be incorporated in our plan, and they communicated and had discussions. I tell you this because I may be seeking, at least asking for your decision at maybe our next regular session on whether to move forward or not, because obviously it's going to take 4 months to do all their work to come up with what our potential project could be, and that project would have to be fixed before the winter season. So we originally intended going through the next Finance Committee meeting, but I think saving 2 weeks, if that's possible, would be a prudent course of action.
Okay, thank you. Anything more, Rob?
No, that's all right.
Health Committee, Legislator Hughes.
Yes, sir. The Health Committee met on Tuesday, May 4th. John Canosa, the Director of Public Health, was present to discuss the Director's report for March, the Health Department report for April, the Public Health Connection for April, and the Grant quarterly report for the first quarter of 2021. Mr. Canosa and Mr. Day are also present today to provide a brief update on COVID-19 cases and vaccines and other things in that area.
Mr. Canosa?
Thank you, Mr. Henry. I will give you an update for today, starting with our cases. I'm very happy and relaxed to announce to all of you that our cases have now come down into the single digits consistently. So we're hoping it stays that way, obviously. But
John, did we have a 0 this week?
we did, Mr. Yes, Mike. Thank you very much. Mike's good. We had, as of yesterday, we had 6 new cases. 7 as of Monday night, 0 on Sunday night, 4 on Saturday night, and 3 on Friday night. Last time we had a 0 was looking way back to September of last year. I haven't had that in a long time, and that's a welcome opportunity. On those we had 14 new cases occur, and I should let you all know that 5 of them, 36%, were K through 12 school-related cases. 8 of them were, 57% of those 14 cases were middle-aged general community, and 1 of them was a new SUNY case, so 7% on that. So we're doing much better. I can tell you right off when I'm even looking at my notes, SUNY only has 1 case that is in isolation right now and 1 in quarantine. So that's huge. That really takes the load off for us. So
John?
very happy to tell you.
I don't want to put you on the spot. I'm not trying to do that at all. But I was reading something the other day, I think from the state of New York, and they had it broken down by regions, where the North region are 7 counties, Finger Lakes, and down through. And I think they were talking about the positivity rate, or maybe the transmission rate. And for example, I don't know, Hamilton County was like 0.86, and some places 1.01. And our region, our 7 counties, not Clinton County, but we're within that region, is like 2.4, 2.1, which is almost higher than all but 1 region in the state.
Yes.
And I was wondering if we have.
I believe that's the overall cumulative region. I don't know for
It is,
sure.
it is for the region.
It
It's
is
not for our
overall,
county.
yeah, I saw 2.4 this morning when I was looking
Yeah,
at
so we
the data.
can, and we are.
Yes.
Very good.
Because we are good, we're suddenly improving. Our graph is suddenly improved. Over the last, I'll say 3 weeks, that's when it really got a lot better. So we're catching up to the rest of the state. Other parts of the state improved a lot quicker, and thus they've had a longer time to spread out that curve. So I think that's your answer for that. I can't tell you. As I've always told Mike, I care about Clinton County. I'm always worried about Clinton. I'm not looking at the rest of the state. I'm looking at Clinton County. So, but
Okay.
that's a partial answer to
No,
your
I'm just,
question.
I'm just curious, that's all. Thank you.
So anyway, that's the statistical breakdown for it. So we're doing, we have a total of 4,715 total confirmed positive cases since this started last March. March 16th was our first case, I believe. We have only 44 cases that are active right now in isolation. So that's also a recent, this year, 2021, new low that we have. We have a total, we're almost up to 199,000 total tests being completed for Clinton County residents. So we're closing in on 200,000. A good chunk of that, you will recall, comes from SUNY Plattsburgh, because they were testing their students and their staff every week. So, and they are having commencement this Saturday, so they're all going home. So the number of tests that are being done are gonna drop off quite rapidly. So, stateside, I think they're still doing at least 100, 120 every day, correct me if I'm wrong? 150, yeah, 100 to 150 every day, depending upon the day, so. Okay, so that's basically it. I'll let you know, the hospital right now only has 3 COVID positive cases in-house right now. Another positive good thing, okay? Now, on vaccinations, today, we were at Northern Cakes off of Military Turnpike where over 45 vaccinations were done. We were also today with another team of vaccinators at St. Edmund's Church up in Ellenburg where 33 vaccinations were done. No longer is a day we're going to the community college gymnasium. I would prefer that we go there. Why, you say? Because we get a lot done in a short amount of time. It's efficient. It's the way to do it. But we're not getting the public to come to that anymore, so we're going to see the public. That's what we're doing right now. And in future weeks, we have other places like the Ted Case Center, Plattsburgh Housing Authority here in the city of Plattsburgh. We have one set up, that's on a Saturday. On June 12th, we have a vaccination clinic planned for the Friendly's parking lot, dose 1. So we're getting out more and more. And now
Those are appointment not necessary?
Appointments are not necessary. Appointments are always preferred. We like to know how many to bring with us, okay? But if somebody walks up, as they have at the state site, walk-ins allowed, we're not gonna turn anybody away. We're gonna try to fit them in. Even if we have to waste 1 or 2 doses, it's okay. We'll find a way to get it done. And that's where we're at right now, okay? We're doing that well. Now, on to schools. Oh, by the way, on the vaccinations, I did provide you this lovely handout from the CVPH. Our local hub, the North Country Hub Hospital, produces this data, and Molly printed them out for me, so I wanted you to see that. It's always good to have a good handle. That we're at 61% for first doses and closing in quickly, 58% for both doses. That's a hell of an accomplishment right there for not only Clinton County, but the whole North Country's looking that way now. We're all looking good together. A week and a half ago, we knew that, as some of you, maybe all of you have heard, Pfizer was approved today by the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices, ACIP. They were previously approved by the FDA for use for 12 to 15-year-olds. Previously, Pfizer was approved for use for 16 to 18-year-olds, okay, and up. So we're now moving into the state of New York for their approval either tomorrow or Friday at the latest, I gotta believe. And then we will have a clear path to vaccinating those 12 children, older children, 12 to 17. So we're looking forward to that, making preliminary plans, moving into the schools and doing points of distribution clinics in the schools themselves. In anticipation of that, we moved a week and a half ago with a survey sent out through CVES. They are our primary communicator to all of our schools, and sent surveys to all of our schools to send to the families of the students, asking simple questions. It's all about us knowing how many want the shot, how many are coming to the clinic. That's why registration is always preferred, so we know how much to bring, and for each school. And we do have a few schools that have already jumped into it with both feet and are very eager to have pod clinics at their facilities. So we're looking forward to that. There's a few schools that are coming in most recently with survey results, so we're hoping to get those very soon. But we definitely went to all of the schools to let them know we're here to help you, to come to you and do clinics at your schools. We did definitely prefer to wait until that Pfizer approval for the 12 to 15, rather than starting now and then have to go back and get the other 12 to 15-year-olds. One first dose clinic at each school, one second dose clinic at each school district, I should say. So that is the general plan of attack right now, and so we're looking forward to starting that up quite soon. So,
Any questions?
any questions?
What are those two schools that have already agreed or given kind of preliminary approval?
Well, we actually have, it's 3 schools actually. We have, we received Shazy School District. They were very happy. They don't have a lot of kids in their district as a whole, but they have definitely a lot of families, just under 100, that want their children to have shots. In the other one, Osable Valley School District, they jumped in pretty quick. And NACS also. The parents in other schools like Beekmantown, let's see, Beekmantown, Peru, and Saranac, who just received the survey. So they're just following, in behind with their report. So we're waiting for them to get back to us so we know how much to bring to them.
In the city?
And I'm waiting for the city too. I haven't heard anything from the city as of yet. So I do know that parents call me, talk to me all the time. Parents from Beekmantown, Saranac, and Peru did tell me, yep, we got the survey done. I go, okay, good. I was waiting. I was like, when are the parents gonna get the survey? So we're good with it. I was just glad they got it. So that they can make a choice, so.
Thank you.
Yes.
Simon?
Well, this is kind of partially a public safety question, but partially a health department question. I'm curious, the current regulation, I believe, at the jail is when the new inmate comes in, I think it's 13 days of what they call pre-class. Essentially, it's isolation, or you could even call it solitary confinement. It's not pleasant. So I don't know what recommendation there is by health department or by the state, or how much of it is in-house, but I'm just curious if that might be loosened up. And the other question was all the programs in the jail, like, we fought hard to get job training, to get mental health and addiction treatment, to get wellness programs, and currently everything's shut down. So I'm curious, are we getting to the point where we might see some loosening in the jail?
Well, I can't answer to the jail, as you know, Simon.
Well, I don't know if some of that is helpful.
But I do know one thing. I do know that Major Leon over at the Sheriff's Department, our county jail, is receiving word and orders from the state that the inmates over there will be up for vaccinations. And of course, our Director of Healthcare Services has told Major Leon, Sheriff Favreau, that we've been more than happy to come over there and do a pod just for those over there. That's what I know. As far as Clinton Correctional, I know nothing. I haven't heard a
I'm
word
talking
from
about
them.
the county jail.
Very good, I got that one covered for you. That's what I do know about our jail, so that's all I know.
So I don't know the answer to your specific changes in policies. I could find that out for you.
I mean, it's probably in-house. I didn't know if it was governed by the county or the state, but it's probably just a decision by the major.
Well, no, it's probably, probably the sheriff and the major are probably making sure they're following whatever protocols exist. And if they have been loosened, I don't know the answer. I will find out for you.
Well, I mean, I believe our county jail is currently following much stricter, has much more strict restrictions than are required. And I was curious if they're going to be loosened, is my question.
I will find out for you.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
More of a statement than anything. I just feel compelled to mention the fact that John and his department mentioned in the Wall Street Journal getting Clinton County some press time as being one of the fastest counties in the nation roll out this vaccine. I just feel between Mr. Day and Mr. Canoza, the job they did, I just want to make sure to mention that. I don't know if everybody saw that. I think it was April 28th. I think it was April 28th, the article naming Clinton County as
Thank you.
rural county in northern New York.
More than 50,000 population, and yes, I owe a lot of the credit to both our staff in isolation, quarantine, contact tracing, as well as our vaccination team. They were splendid. You know, we've been nonstop ever since March of last year. So,
Just wanted to recognize the fact that they did get that, so I appreciate that.
thank you, Mr. Hughes. Thank you.
Oh, no, that was a good job. Anyone else? Okay, Mr. Day, miss anything?
I really have nothing to add.
You're just a
John-
spectator, you're just a spectator?
John covered it all pretty well.
All right, back to you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Take care.
Resolutions 293 to 301 have been placed on the agenda as a result of the committee's recommendations. The next health committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Tuesday, June 1st at 4:30 p.m. End of report.
Thank you, sir. Human Services, Legislator Perry.
Mr. Chairman, Human Services Committee met Tuesday, May 11th. Wendy Bishop, the Nursing Home Administrator, Darlene Collins, the Office for the Aging Director, and Steve Goldman, the Director of Veteran Services Agency, were all present. Resolution 302 through 304 have been placed on the agenda as a result of the committee's recommendations. The next Human Services Committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Wednesday, June 2nd at 4:15. End of report.
Thank you. Personnel Committee. The Personnel Committee met on Monday, May 3rd. Resolutions 305 through 318 have been placed on tonight's agenda as a result of the committee's recommendations. And the next Personnel Committee meeting was tentatively scheduled for Monday, June 7th at 4 p.m. Plattsburgh International Airport, Legislator Hall.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the Plattsburgh International Airport Committee has not met since the last regular session. Chris Craig, the airport director, provided a runway reconstruction project update. As stated, a project update meeting was held with the airlines and other stakeholders on April 30th. Additionally, he noted the rubberization of the concrete was completed as of May 1st, and the full depth replacement of the pavement and sub-base in selected areas of the runway is ongoing. Lastly, he reported the contractor began paving as of May 6th, and the project is currently on schedule. The next Plattsburgh International Airport Committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Wednesday, May 26th at 4 p.m. And the report. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Public Safety, Legislator Castine.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Public Safety Committee met on Monday, May 3rd. Eric Day, the Director of Emergency Services, Sheriff Dave Fabro, and Jamie Rock, the Administrative Assistant at the Child Advocacy Center, were all present. The committee discussed allowing youth hunters ages 12 through 13. Resolutions 319 through 323 have been placed on the agenda as a result of the committee's recommendations, as well as resolutions 324 through 326 through a poll conducted on May 7th. The next Public Safety Committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Monday, June 7th at 5 p.m. End of report.
Thank you. Transportation, Legislator Kretzer.
The Transportation Committee met on May 10th, Mr. Chairman. Carl Weiss, the Highway Superintendent, was present to discuss several resolutions, including requesting naming New York State Bridge in the town of Ellenburg after former Clinton County Legislator Samuel J. Trombley. Shannon Thayer, the planning technician, was also present to discuss bus capacity and using a portion of Clinton County Public Transportation CARES funding to allocate to the Clinton County Public Transportation staff. Resolutions 327 through 331 have been placed on the agenda as a result of the committee's recommendations. The next Transportation Committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Monday, June 14th at 5:15 p.m.
Thank you. I don't think we have very many liaison reports, but we'll run through a couple of them. Cooperative extensions, Legislator Timmons.
No, we don't meet until the 18th of this month.
Discipline review, nothing, right? There's nothing. Intercounty, Legislator Walden.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we will be meeting at the end of this month, but we are also planning our field trip for Clinton County for June. So we'll keep you posted on the events to come.
it may involve, Mr. Timmons
I believe Mr. Timmons is gonna fall in the mix. We've arm wrestled and he's agreed, so.
LCLG, Regional Planning Board, legislators Kretzer or Hughes, and/or Hughes.
We have not met, there's nothing.
Okay. Soil and Water, legislators Currier and Timmons.
Oh, we haven't met since the last meeting.
Okay,
Chairman, can we back up? So,
Sure.
Wendell, were you, oh no, Josh, were you contacted with Beth and everything is?
Yes.
Okay, so she got the resolution and she's comfortable and you've got all your paperwork to start whatever you need to do.
He actually sat through the last meeting.
Oh, okay.
So,
Thank you. Sorry, just wanted to.
No, thank you.
And Workforce Development Board, again, legislator Kretzer.
So the Regional Workforce Development Board, board meeting is scheduled for this Friday, which I'll be attending, and I will have a report at the next meeting.
Okay, thank you. Staff reports, Ms. Keller,
I do not have anything for tonight.
do the best. Mr. Zerlo,
Very briefly,
you're
Chairman.
not the best.
Very briefly, Chairman. Quick reminder, jot it down, the photograph of the legislature will be on 5/26, so our next regular session, 4:45, so we can get the photograph taken, so it'll probably be between a truncated airport meeting and the regular session. Again, dark business attire makes the photo stand out a little more. And as you might have read in the paper, we are getting close to receiving our first tranche of our federal ARP money. I'm supposed to get it by the end of May, with the second tranche within a year thereafter. It is a bear. You know, Kim and I are trying to go through it, working with the treasurer's office. We're gonna have to work with our department heads. We're on webinars and we're reading fact sheets and the 150-page final rule. There's a lot of devil in the details. We certainly think it'll help us. We certainly think we'll be able to use it to assist a loss of revenue because of COVID, and to still deal with the pandemic and a host of other initiatives that you will all have a say in, obviously. But it's not a simple there's not a simple check with no guide rails. So there is a big process to be followed, and I just wanted to let everybody know that.
Thank you, sir. The only thing I have is that our next regular session and finance meeting will be held here in the legislative chambers. We've already talked about it. And to remind you again, masks are required, just like tonight, so we will still be doing that, but those meetings will be here as opposed to Zoom.
Mr. Chairman.
Next up, resolutions,
Mr.
before
Chairman,
voting on the resolution.
I have
Yes, sir.
one thing to add. I did chat with someone at the chamber recently on an interesting issue. They're working on their master plan for the beach area, which is something that's been worked on for 20 years. You know, different plans have been kicked around, and they're going through it again with the Saratoga firm. And one portion of that has always been a pier, which was priced out back in the revenue days. It was a wooden pier. He was in town this past week. We were talking about it, and I think there's new interest in the pier, which is a part of that plan, and it could even be potentially, it could get some extra focus if it was seen as a COVID relief project that was good for quality of life as well as economic development in the North Country.
Anything else? Anything else before we go?
No, sir.
Okay. Resolutions. Before voting on the resolutions, I want to note that the majority of the resolutions have been thoroughly discussed by the appropriate committees, and the legislature is taking action tonight based on the recommendation of those committees. Mr. Zerlo, would you please read the titles of the resolutions that we will be acting upon?
Certainly. Resolution 284, authorizing the clerk to Clinton County Legislature to advertise for a public hearing on local law number 1 of 2021 titled, "A Local Law Adopting Pilot Youth Deer Hunting Program Legislature." I'm sorry, go ahead, sir.
Motion, legislator Castine, second legislator Hall. Discussion.
I just want to make it clear that the draft local law is on the desk as prescribed by state statute to advertise for the public hearing. And the Public Safety Committee did discuss this, Chairman Castine, at length, and decided to move this forward to the full board.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 285, authorizing distribution of mortgage tax for the period October 2020 through March 31, 2021.
Motion, legislator Timmons, second legislator Waldron. Discussion.
I like to do this every time we distribute mortgage tax, is tell you what that number was from the same period a year prior. And it's reflective of the value of the sales in each particular municipality. And as you see, this reflects a distribution of $889,000. And that same resolution last year for the period October 1, 2019 through March 31, 2020 was $517,000. So, positive dynamic. Now, that can be skewed for several reasons, but it is good that that number is well above what it was the previous year.
Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Resolution 286, authorizing contract with Adirondack Community Action Programs Incorporated Social Services.
Motion, legislator Waldron, second legislator Kretzer. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Resolution 287, authorizing contract with Friends of the North Country Social Services.
Motion, legislator Waldron, second legislator Furrier. Discussion. Yes, sir.
Just a quick question, it looks like the period that we're covering has already happened. Are we behind in doing this? Should we have done it earlier, or, because it's from October of last year to September of this year, and I don't think we get too many of those days in September.
No, but it allows us to go back and get paid. So, you're right, in a perfect world, this would have come to our attention before the start date, but it did not, so now we gotta.
This money we would have to spend
We got-
anyway. Now we're-
Correct. This does not cost us any money, this comes from the state of New York,
Right.
and allows us to pay the Friends of the North Country to be on call to receive these requests. But now we have the ability to pay them for their service,
Which is nice.
which is nice, especially if you're them.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, they seem to like that. Anything further? Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Resolution 288, authorizing contract with Franklin Essex Hamilton Boards of Cooperative Educational Services, Social Services, Employment and Training.
Motion, legislator Waldron, second legislator Kretzer. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Resolution 289, authorizing various contracts for vendor training, board elections.
Motion, legislator Waldron, second legislator Castine. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Resolution 290, authorizing fiscal year 2019 cybersecurity grant program acceptance, information technology.
No, can't do anything yet. I did push your stuff. There, sorry. Motion, legislator Waldron, second legislator Hughes. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Resolution 291, authorizing write-off and chargeback of taxes, Town of Schuyler Falls, Treasurer's Office.
Motion, legislator Timmons, second legislator Castine. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Resolution 292, authorizing contract extension with Glens Falls National Bank and Trust Company, Treasurer's Office.
Motion legislator Timmons, second legislator Castine. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Resolution 293, authorizing partnership with the University of Vermont Health Network, Mental Health and Addiction.
Motion legislator Hughes, second legislator Castine. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Resolution 294, authorizing lease agreement with 518 Strength and Conditioning, Mental Health and Addiction.
Motion legislator Hughes, second legislator Kretzer. Discussion.
Just very briefly, the Health Committee, we discussed the terms. The terms you see in this resolution are what were approved at our meeting.
Okay, perfect, thanks.
Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 295, authorizing contract with the Chazen Companies, Health Department.
Motion legislator Hughes, second legislator Waldron. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Resolution 296, authorizing contract with various preschool-related contractors, Health Departments.
Motion legislator Hughes, second legislator Castine. Discussion.
While these continue to be expensive programs, expensive mandated programs, I do think it's worth pointing out, and it was reflected in your budget document that you passed last December, that most, if not all, of these contracts remained at the same rate. So if there's a positive to be taken from an onerous state mandate, there's one.
Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 297, authorizing various preschool tuition contracts, Health Department.
Motion legislator Hughes, second legislator Kretzer. Discussion.
Same speech as the last resolution.
Okay. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 298, authorizing contract for preschool special education transportation with First Transit Incorporated, Health Department.
Motion legislator Hughes, second legislator Waldron. Discussion.
Same speech as the last two resolutions.
Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 299, authorizing emergency preparedness grant application and acceptance, Health Department.
Motion legislator Hughes, second legislator Castine. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 300, amending Resolution 251 dated April 14, 2021, titled Authorizing Clinton County Participation in the State Septic System Replacement Fund for Islamont Watershed Grant Acceptance, Health Department.
Motion legislator Hughes, second legislator Castine. Discussion.
Yes, Chairman, we briefly discussed this. We passed a similar resolution, I believe, 2 weeks ago. The state wanted us to combine. You also recall we passed an original resolution, or I believe it was the Chattagay Lake area. This resolution, it's the same grant as far as the state's concerned, so that's why we had to combine those two into this resolution. It is not an additional grant, it's the same grant codified in a single resolution.
Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 301, authorizing contracts with selected individuals for distribution of state septic system replacement funds for the Islamont Watershed Grant, Health Department.
Motion legislator Hughes, second legislator Kretzer. Discussion.
So this does not spend that money. It allows the Health Department, at such time as people bring forward eligible projects, that they can execute those contracts.
Roll call.
And I would advise anybody in the Lake Champlain watershed who represents those folks all the way from Cumberland Head to the Canadian border, communicate this opportunity to your towns, villages, and/or your residents.
Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 302, amending Resolution 635 dated October 8, 2018, titled Authorizing contract with Pharmacy Associates of Glens Falls and DBA Omnicare of Ballston Spa Nursing Home.
Motion, legislator Perrier, second, legislator Conroy. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 303, authorizing Consolidated Appropriations Act grant application and acceptance, Office for the Aging.
Motion, legislator Perrier, second, legislator Hughes. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 304, authorizing the purchasing agent to solicit requests for proposals for the 2022-2023 programs and services, Office for the Aging.
Motion, legislator Perrier, second, legislator Kretzer. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 305, approving backfill of permanent full-time director of Veteran Services Agency position, Veteran Services.
Motion, legislator Perrier, second, legislator Conroy. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 306, approving backfill of permanent full-time clerk, Social Services.
Motion, legislator Hall, second, legislator Kretzer. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 307, approving backfill of permanent full-time caseworker, Social Services.
Motion, legislator Potiker. Stand by me. Motion, legislator Hall, second, legislator Perrier. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 308, approving creation of permanent full-time coordinator of services for the aging position, Office for the Aging.
Motion, legislator Henry, second, legislator Capstein. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 309, approving creation of temporary part-time health facility controller position, nursing home.
Motion, legislator Capstein, second, legislator Hall. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 310, approving backfill of permanent full-time environmental services worker position, so nursing home.
Motion, legislator Hall, second, legislator Timmons. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 311, approving backfill of permanent full-time environmental services worker position, nursing home.
Motion, legislator Timmons, second, legislator Waldron. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 312, approving creation of 2 temporary full-time seasonal labor positions, highway.
Motion, legislator Waldron, second, legislator Henry. Discussion.
I'd just like to fill the remainder of the board in, it's not a creation of 2 additional FTEs. We're doing this in lieu of the approved backfill of 2 MEO1s in the department to ensure that Carl can get some folks on staff working through the summer in hopes that some may even graduate to the MEO1 position. So although it's creation of 2 temporary positions, it actually saves us money and potentially is a recruitment tool for his MEO1 position.
That was a really good idea. Glad to hear it. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 313, approving backfill of permanent full-time motor equipment operator 2, highway.
Motion, legislator Capstein, second, legislator Hall. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 314, approving backfill of permanent full-time motor equipment operator 1, highway.
Motion, legislator Timmons, second, legislator Waldron. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 315, approving backfill of permanent full-time mental health clinician 3, district attorney's office.
Motion, legislator Waldron, second, legislator Capstein. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 316, approving backfill of permanent part-time typist, public defender.
Motion, legislator Capstein, second, legislator Hall. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 317, approving backfill of permanent full-time jail administrator, sheriff's department.
Motion, legislator Hall, second, legislator Timmons. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution amending resolution 925 dated November 14, 2018, titled approving creation of permanent full-time public defender's office.
Motion, legislator Henry, second, legislator Waldron. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 319, authorizing contract with Lake Champlain Dentistry Sheriff's Department.
Motion, legislator Castine, second, legislator Hall. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 320, authorizing emergency management performance grant application and acceptance for federal fiscal year 2021 emergency services.
Motion, legislator Castine, second, legislator Perrier. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Resolution 321, approving appointments to the Fire Advisory Board Emergency Services.
5-5, Mr. Castine?
5-4, Chairman.
Or 5-4? 5-4. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 322, authorizing Stewart's grant application and acceptance to District Attorney's Office Child Advocacy Center.
Motion, legislator Castine, second, legislator Waldron. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 323, authorizing contract with Mobile ODT, District Attorney's Office Child Advocacy Center.
Motion, legislator Castine, second, legislator Waldron. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 324, awarding bids for semi-rigid inflatable boat and trailer Sheriff's Department.
Motion, legislator Castine, second, legislator Hall. Discussion.
I'd just like to bring everybody's attention to the first resolve clause that this is being paid for from a grant, not tax levy dollars.
Roll call.
Excuse me, second resolve clause. Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
We name it the Mark A.
No. Resolution 325, authorizing the purchasing agent to solicit requests for qualifications for professional legal services to handle family court assignments. Signed counsel.
Motion, legislator Castine, second, legislator Perrier. Discussion.
Just that we are at the end of our current contractual ability to extend our contract with our current family court attorneys, and we need to go out for requests for qualifications.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 326, awarding bid to prosecution legislative grant application and acceptance, District Attorney's Office.
Motion, legislator Castine, second, legislator Waldron. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Resolution 327, authorizing contract extension for tree removal services for the year 2021 highway.
Motion, legislator Kretzer, second, legislator Conroy. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 328, authorizing contract amendment with Mountain View Equipment Highway Department.
Motion, legislator Kretzer, second, legislator Hughes. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 329, awarding bid for remanufactured hot mix asphalt paver highway.
Motion, legislator Kretzer, second, legislator Conroy. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 330, requesting naming New York State Bridge in the town of Ellenburg after former Clinton County Legislator Samuel J. Trombley, Legislature.
5-4, Mr. Kretzer, Mr. Perrier.
Yes.
Discussion.
I spoke to Assemblyman Jones today, he's expecting this. He did confirm that it requires state legislation to be passed in both houses of the legislature, so it is not a simple process. And I'm assuming Senator Steck will move as quickly as possible in hopes that it can be accomplished in this legislative session.
Go ahead.
When I first ran this by Francis, he jumped right on it, and I was thinking the county bridge, but he very wisely chose that bridge that's right across from NAC and is right in Sam's backyard. So it's a very much more appropriate bridge, and I would hope that the state can move on this. They got the Gordon Little Bridge approved in very little time, and that's a state road, so hopefully this year will happen on a state road too.
Yes, well, certainly well deserved. Anything else further?
I will note, Legislator Perrier did also bring me letters of support from, I believe all the towns.
All the
in the
towns.
area too.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 331, authorizing contracts with First Transit Incorporated, Transit Management of Clinton County Incorporated, Clinton County Public Transit.
Motion, legislator Cresser, second legislator Hughes. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 332, authorizing the county treasurer to establish appropriations and corresponding revenue for the Autism Alliance of Northeastern New York Incorporated Grant District Attorney's Office Child Advocacy Center.
Motion, legislator Timmons, second legislator Castine. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 333, authorizing the county treasurer to establish appropriation and corresponding revenue for the state septic system replacement fund at Grant Health Department.
Motion, legislator Timmons, second legislator Hughes. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 334, authorizing the county treasurer to increase appropriation and corresponding revenue for insurance reimbursement, sheriff's department.
Motion, legislator Timmons, second legislator Castine. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 335, congratulating Michael Carpenter on his designation as Clinton Community College's inaugural education champion.
Ms. Waldron, Mr. Perrier, 5-4.
Please.
Yeah.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. I'd like to entertain a motion to waive Rule 13.2. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by legislator Hall, second by legislator Hughes. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 336, authorizing lease agreement with Above Grid Solar LLC, Plattsburgh International.
Motion.
Motion by legislator Waldron, second by legislator Timmons. Discussion? Roll call.
I'm sorry, I don't know if we can get a little breakdown of this, Michael?
Yes, so this is a proposed solar project to the, excuse me, to the west of the runway. You know, last resolution does is allow this company to do its due diligence to see if their interconnects in soils and everything are you know, make a viable project for them. And as such, we get a small fee to allow them to do their due diligence. We will get, obviously, should they move forward with the project, larger lease revenue.
And is this a similar project to the one that fell through a couple years ago?
No, sir. Similar project, that was a power purchase agreement, meaning that the county was actually buying, would have been buying the power produced on that original one. This is simply land lease, and the power would go to the ISO.
Great.
Any further questions, discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Carried. I believe that's it for resolutions, unless I missed anything. I think we're done. Anybody have anything else to come before the legislature? I entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion from legislator Hall, second from legislator Hughes. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Good evening and thank you. We are adjourned.